Hello. Just a few hours ago, I sat right here with a client who was on the computer who wanted to connect with a loved one who had passed. She said very specifically one person, but I had no idea who that was. I had never met her before at all and just trusted that Spirit knew exactly what she needed. The first person in was somebody she didn't even recognize, but I didn't panic because I trust Spirit. Shortly thereafter, in came a woman who clearly was her grandmother. She recognized this woman and tears came to her eyes from the personality that I described, the little brass ornaments that the grandmother showed me my client had. And indeed, they were in her kitchen right now. Then in came a gentleman who went down on one knee and showed me a ring. And that's when my client really started crying. This clearly was a symbol that she had a husband across the veil, and indeed she did. He let me know that if he wasn't an engineer, he would have made a good one, and she said, yes, my husband was an engineer. He showed me that he passed from a debilitating illness, showed me that he needed several ambulance rides and trips to the hospital during his illness. This is called evidence from those across the veil. And as an evidence-based medium, it's the kind of information that I ask those in Spirit to give me so that my clients know I am talking to their loved ones who they may have thought are dead and gone, but they are right here. How are these things possible? How can we, any of us, communicate with loved ones who have passed? And far more than that, with guides, with angels, the masters. It's because we are not only human. I am so glad that I have this opportunity to share with you what I have learned on my very unexpected journey to communicating with those across the veil. And it all came about, unfortunately, as the result of a deep family tragedy for us, for my family. I had spent 20 years in the Navy, rose to the top of my career as aide to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I was very left-brained, by the book, everything was black and white. Then I was in the last aircraft with the chairman on September 11th, 2001. That started me asking questions such as, is this life all there is? Why are some people in the wrong place at the wrong time? Because I stood there gaping at that hole in the side of my office building, the Pentagon, hours after it had been struck by a plane full of terrorists. And I knew that those people that had been killed could not possibly be gone forever. That feeling was accentuated for me several years later when my stepdaughter Suzanne was very tragically struck and killed by lightning. Looking at her body in the coffin, that's when, in the very depths of me, that knowing that death is not the end of us really sank in. After 9/11, I put all my thoughts of an afterlife aside. But when Suzanne passed, I had to know, is there more? Where are you now? Something in me, and it's the soul, knew that you can't kill that most essential nature of all of us. And so that week, when Suzanne passed, back in 2006, I began sitting daily with the intention to connect with her. I called it meditation, but I had never studied meditation. I really didn't know what I was doing, but I sat and I shut out the outer world with the intention of connecting with Suzanne's spirit. It took quite a while, but I did connect with her. But what was most unexpected is what happened along the way, on the journey to connect with my Suzanne's spirit. My intuition came back online. We all have intuition, but when you can just pick up a phone and say, hey Siri, we don't need it so much. Well, sitting quietly, blocking out the outer world, you wake up to a whole other world that is right here. And that's what I'd like to introduce to you. in these 8 modules that I'm so honored to share with you. The topic is unlocking the intelligence of the afterlife. And I love that word intelligence, because we humans seem to think we're really smart, but that is just the smallest bit of the creativity, intelligence, wisdom, and insights that are available to us when we realize that we're so much more than these physical bodies. So when we talk about unlocking something, that usually takes a key, right? So I'm going to be sharing with you quite a few keys on our journey together about how you can tap into, how you can unlock the vast intelligence that is so far beyond any human intelligence that we can imagine, and use it for our greater benefit, for raising our consciousness, for fulfilling the potential of you as a soul, what you came here to do. Your life truly does have meaning, but it doesn't have to be great big things that change the world and everyone around you. What if you could simply change your inner world? I recently learned that all of us have a set point of happiness. Did you know that? You probably can compare yourself to others and see, am I generally happier than most, or for some reason, am I not quite as happy as others? It has been shown that people who win the lottery are happier for a period of time, but within a year, they go back to that normal set point of happiness. You could have a great tragedy and experience depression for quite a while, and within a year, you'll rise back up to your set point of happiness. Now, this would be kind of depressing if we thought we couldn't change that set point, but here's where the research comes in. It turns out you can change your inner world and increase your happiness set point. But it doesn't matter what changes in your outer world, you'll keep coming back to the set point. So our goal here is to help you increase your happiness quotient by tapping into the intelligence within you, by showing how you are already connected to the greatest source of joy, which is my name for God, Source, which is all right here and available to you. So success, failures, anything that goes on in the outer world that's filled with its ups and downs, they come and go. But this inner peace and joy and happiness is always within you and can be increased exponentially with practice, with tools, and with information. So that's my goal for you here, to show you how you are already connected to this source of all happiness, all peace, all contentment. It's your birthright because it's who you are. And once you tap into that, you realize that the afterlife is part of the ongoing life of all of us. Life for me is an acronym. It stands for Love in Full Expression. And that's what and who you are. Love is a lack of separation. That means everything's connected. Think about a time when you fell in love with someone, whether it's a human or a beloved pet. Didn't you feel a total connection with them? We call that in human terms love, but at your most essential level, at the soul, you're already connected to all that is. That is oneness.